Blog Talk Radio.
Winston-Salem, it's Sunday Night Dead. thing that lives under your bed. And you're listening to Sunday Night Dead. Turn it up, please. It's hard to hear down here.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 26th edition of Sunday Night Dead. I am Matthew Slozer from Autumn Moon Paranormal here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Lots of sad faces around here in North Carolina right now. This is the last day of summer vacation. My whole crew is packing everything up, getting ready to start tomorrow morning, but I'm a little bummed myself because it actually knocks about 2.5 hours sleep off of what I usually get because of getting everybody ready for buses and all that fun stuff. But it is what it is. But, you know, kind of going through all the different logistics and everything with all their schedules, and I got some interesting conflicts of schedules here. So it will be very interesting to get into this. And also, I wanted to talk about one of my events this week. We started to, and I actually have my technical assistant Vincent here to help. So, Vincent, I heard that we are actually now starting to. We're only in our third week, but we are starting to get lots and lots of fan mail. So I am getting very, very excited about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about all the fan mail and fans of Sunday Night Dead, Vincent?
Not exactly, Matt. We've received quite a bit of angry email from the orb community. It seems that your promo post about the orbs not having hands or ears has really inflamed and upset the orb community. And they are very angry with you. And we actually have an orb in the studio right now that would like to have a little talk with you.
Well, offending the orb community. I don't know exactly what that constitutes, but if any of you out there haven't seen it, again, just kind of for fun, I was putting up little, we've had the Ring Girl giving us little promos, and you just heard a little while ago, we got the thing under the bed, we got a bunch more of these, and so I have a picture of orbs up on the wall with a little caption saying that these orbs can't listen to internet radio because they don't have any hands or ears, but if they did, of course they would listen to Sunday Night Dead. And as far as an orb in the studio, we shouldn't really have any orbs here. I do a very good job dusting, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, we'll follow this further and see what's going on with the pissed off orbs that are going on. Another story on Wednesday, if anyone was able to catch Paranormal Kool-Aid, which is the show on Dead Air on Wednesday nights, I was able to fill in for Mike Bowler, who was out on vacation. And it was a pretty interesting show. We were talking about demonology, which always, whenever you do a demonology show, that always generates a lot of calls and a lot of interest, because it's definitely one of the more controversial topics out there. And there are a ton of controversial topics, and it always amazes me some of the things that get people all riled up, particularly in the realm of semantics and what you call things. So very interested in that. So in that show, I decided that I was from now on in going to give myself my own title, just because I know that there's people out here that will just get driven nuts by it. So I am now going to refer to myself as Matthew Slozer, the certified paranormal genius with a PhD in excellence from the Paranormal Pantheon. So it's going to be a lot to write, but it'll certainly also take about 30 seconds off the introductions here, but that is now my official title. And with that, I'm going to bring on my guest co-host, who is also, he's from South Jersey Soul Searchers. I always get I have like a mental block with his team's group name, so if I botch that again, I apologize. But he is also known as the certified knower of the unknown with a PhD in enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on, and we have a technical difficulty, see? The knower of the unknown with a PhD in enthusiasm. Here he is, John.
That's me. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't know about you, Matt, but you said there were some people down there that are sad. I myself am super excited. The weather up here in Jersey's been, at night it's cooling off, and it just has that, the fall Halloween feel to it. And I went to the mall and I saw all this Halloween decorations, and I'm all excited. I'm like pumped up for ghost hunting.
Oh, it's my, the fall season is my favorite time of season, or favorite time of year, so I absolutely love it. I hate what comes after it. I'm definitely not a winter person, and so definitely one of the things that I've enjoyed about moving down to North Carolina is, even the bad winters here are nicer than the winters up in Pennsylvania, although I will say that you start getting used to whatever you're around. So certainly, now a bad winter here actually just feels like a bad winter because I'm kind of spoiled and would prefer it to be in the 50s the whole time over the winter. But so how you doing up there?
Good. I'm doing great. My team had a small investigation on Friday, and we did a little private residential person's house, and it was very touching. I won't get into details, but it was nice to go back to your roots, where you start from, to take a break from the big, like the Pinhursts and Rolling Hills. So it was nice, and like I said, the weather's been starting to chill off, so I'm excited.
Awesome. Now, do you have a preference on? Cause it's interesting. We talk about different people, or when I've interviewed different people on the show, it's very interesting how there tends to be a breakdown in preference as to there's some teams that only do the private homes. There's some teams that only do the historic, and then even the teams that do both. Most of them tend to prefer one over the other. So I know you just mentioned that it's a nice change for you, but do you have a preference between the two types of locations?
Actually, no. I like the smaller ones, the private ones, because they're more one-on-one. They're more personal. I kind of feel like our team helps the person. If we go out and they're looking for a loved one or they think something's scaring them, you kind of can focus on that. But I also like the bigger ones, like the Pinhursts, the Rolling Hills, because you get to bring. It's more, there's more history to it. I love the history of the locations. So they kind of go hand in hand for me.
Awesome. I have to add, I met John in early July, John, Katie, and Mark, when I had the opportunity to investigate the Mayflower building at Penhurst. And we just had a great time investigating that location, got some awesome evidence, have some videos out if you check out either my personal page or the Automoon Paranormal page. We have some videos of some pretty crazy things with that closet. Yeah, I'll let you explain the closet door situation. That was something else.
Well, first off, it was super hot that night. I can remember that. We were all dripping sweat, and I believe it's the third floor. Like I said, I think you have your fancy camera that I love that you wear on your glasses, and you were filming, and I was there filming with my Sony. And there's a door on the third floor that you just would not open, and it's some people, it was stuck. And we would pull on that door. I remember you pulled it. I think Katie pulled on it. Mark pulled on it. We each took turns pulling on it, and every now and then it would pull back, and you would see the handle move. And it was extremely creepy. I still get the heebie-jeebies thinking about it.
Yeah, I've never had this experience before with this, but I actually felt. And again, it's one of these deals that somebody is a skeptic or somebody that that doesn't know me could believe it if you want to. I mean, this is really what I felt. First time I actually ever had this experience, I could actually feel like a hand on the other side of the doorknob pulling it. You actually had that physical sensation of feeling somebody pulling the door back in, and
you could hear it too.
And we got it open later.
The thumping.
Yeah. And there's nobody in there. It's very, very interesting. I'm going to have to pull these together. I'm still compiling things, but and share with you as well. We got some other very weird things from that night there. So it was a very good night, very good evidence-wise. We have we caught a couple what sounded like yells, like female yells around the time we were doing the closet. So the theory we were operating with at the time was that somebody could have been hiding in that closet from someone, because there are stories of a lot of abuse there and patient-on-patient abuse. And we picked up what sounded like some females yelling, which is pretty interesting on that. And also, for anyone that's familiar with the eastern Pennsylvania area, you'll know what a Pennsylvania Dutch accent is. And so what I found really, really interesting is I got an EVP, which sounds like I can't do it. I don't do a very good Dutch accent, so excuse me for even trying here. But it was like going Don in the on the EVP. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because that accent and things would be something more similar with that area, and that's something you would hear everywhere. So I'll definitely pull all that together in the future. But awesome place, and I can't wait to get back there more than likely next summer.
Oh, count me in. I know we're looking forward to working with you again. I have to say, I love your style of work. You're one brave man. That's all I can say. You just walk around Pinehurst by yourself at first, getting to know the area, and I think that's neat how you just walk around and kind of getting to know the area by yourself. I'd be scared to death. That's all I can say.
Well, I'll say I was glad you guys came there, because when I got there at first and realized that what happened was it was a slow night. I thought it was actually going to be pretty crowded, because it was the weekend after the 4th of July, and I was thinking there'd be a lot of people up there and everything. Well, there was about, I think, 6 or 7 people signed up, but since it was going to be really hot, I guess everyone else rescheduled, so it ended up just being me. And I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty neat, but I don't know, how many hours of going around the big empty building by myself before, I'll start creeping myself out, because I know I've done it short term, but, never for 5-6 hours. And so it was cool. And then you guys were there to help out and stuff, and so we just had a nice investigation there, and it really was neat, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I get I used to get in trouble with some former members of a team I was in over the I certainly run the I don't know how you would say it. I certainly go out to the edge on the rule of not being by yourself. So kind of like my definition of having somebody around is different than some other people's. Like in that case, you guys were still there in that building. The building is big, but it's not a huge building that if, something happened and I would yell, you would have heard me from pretty much anywhere in there. So, so that's kind of fair game. Whereas I know some people, like once you're out of eyesight, they start freaking out, which, again, it's to each his own style. So,
well, I think your radio show reflects your ghost investigating skills. I mean, you take it very serious, and you're very passionate about it, but yet you're not afraid to you laugh at yourself, and you have fun with it, and I think that's awesome. It shows in your show. And I remember when we worked with you, you'd be very serious, and every now and then you'd make a little joke, and it lightens the mood. I thought that was very impressive.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Quick, just give the little plug here. If anyone would like to call in and talk to us, we do have Sharon Coyle from Rolling Hills Asylum calling in. She's going to be calling in probably between, it's already after 9:15, but I'd say between 9:15 and 9:30. She actually had a tour at the location tonight, so once that tour wrapped up, she will be calling in, and I can't wait to speak with her. Great person to talk to, and an absolutely incredible location to talk about. But anyone in the chat, feel free to send in questions on the chat, or anyone who would like to call. The number is 646-929-2384. If you have any questions or comments for me, John, or anything interesting happened over the weekend when you guys were out investigating that you want to talk about, that would be interesting as well. Like I said, we'll have Sharon Coyle on soon, which I'll just add right now. This is one of the top locations on my investigation bucket list, and I've said this before, and I don't really know why, but my favorite places to investigate are all the hospitals and the asylums and all that. That's just, my bucket list, probably 9 or 10 out of the 10 would probably fall into that hospital or asylum category. It's just I enjoy them. There's something, in my opinion, that's kind of inherently creepy about them, and I just but I'd much rather, prisons are creepy too, but I'd much rather hang out and investigate a hospital than a prison. But along those lines, we are planning on doing a road trip up there. It turns out that there's quite a few really good places between where we're at in kind of north central North Carolina and where Rolling Hills is in western New York. So our team, or at least part of our team, is we're going to call this Paracation 2013. And the plan is we're going to do a road trip and do a combo of the public hunts on the weekends and book one or two private hunts during the week. And the goal is to do 3 to 4 locations, with the highlight of this being booking the investigation at Rolling Hills, which, again, I am so much looking forward to being able to check that out. So, and again, your crew there at South Jersey would certainly be welcome to join us if you would like.
Oh, definitely. I know. I've been talking to Katie and other members, and I know we had talked about me and you, or your team and us, working on Trans-Allegheny. I'm excited about that. You can count me in on that one. And I definitely would love to go to Rolling Hills. I've been researching it, and I've been looking into it, and I know a gentleman who I've been talking to who knows Sharon and has told me about the site, and I can't wait to go there. I've been researching it, and it just has everything. It's a lot like Pennhurst. It has, just an aura about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to take this out because I think there's some people in the chat that are also from general eastern Pennsylvania and Jersey area, and so if other people aren't familiar with us, we will certainly elaborate. On this, but how bummed are you that Byberry's knocked down?
I had a person on my team just ask me the other day. She's like, "We should go to Byberry." I'm like, it's gone." She didn't know that. I said, "We still got Pennhurst, so we got at least one of them still."
Yeah, it's now. I mean, there are, just so everyone knows, and you will find video on top of video on top of video on YouTube about Byberry, but I will also add that none of it authorized. These are all people basically breaking in and running around the place, and that's part of the reason that led to it getting knocked down was people were just running rampant in that place. All kinds of parties going on. There were fires there. There were all kinds of kind of urban legends. I don't know what's true, what's not. Honestly, if I ever got the chance to investigate there, and I've mentioned this before, this is probably my biggest concern in going into any large location like that. I'd be more worried about running into some people up to no good, using that empty location as a cover, or some unstable homeless person, than I would really running into any supernatural type things. But it was a huge place. Some of the buildings that look really interesting to me weren't the ones that were necessarily photographed a lot of. There was a more recent hospital building. I believe it was a possibly another TB hospital. I don't know what it is about the TB hospitals that look so creepy, but that was built more in the 40s or 50s on that complex. That there were some interesting pictures I've seen inside that area as well, but just a huge, huge complex, and looked very, very interesting. So yeah, I was curious if you ever got to check that out, or what you felt about that, because I wish that place was open for. Well, first of all, I wish it was still here, let alone open for tours. Well, everyone, I believe, you never know. One time I did this, and I got a guy imitating the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So whenever you do these live flip-overs, you never know. But I'm going to take an assumption here, and I believe this is Sharon. So let's bring on. Okay. Sharon, is that you?
Actually, I was trying to order some Domino's. No, this is Sharon. Sorry. Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on, man. Sorry I'm so late.
Oh, this is great. No problem at all. We were John and I were both talking. Your location there is very high on both of our investigation lists, and so the only reason why I haven't been there already is just because it's about I think it's probably about 10 and a half hours away. So haven't logistically worked that one out yet. Although certainly that's easier than going out to some place like the Stanley or somewhere out on the West Coast. So definitely looking forward to it. Something I'm definitely interested in checking out and talking to you about tonight. So how's everything going up there?
Oh, good. It was a hectic day. I had an hour-and-a-half tour, and then I had a quick bite to eat, and I had a 2-hour tour, and I'm here with you guys, and had a hunt last night and a hunt tomorrow night, and it's all good. It's all great. The activity's been really high, so it's been fun. It was just this last tour was kind of funny because it was a 2-hour flashlight tour, and I brought them back to the holding room so we could, like, pick up a brochure and leave. And they all sat down, and they didn't get up. They weren't even asking me questions. They were just staring at me like I don't know what they expected from me, but it was pretty funny. They were like in rapt awe or something. I don't know. I expected to have to break out into a song and dance, but anyway, it was funny. It was cute. They were a nice group of people.
Well, I guess, first of all, how did you get involved? Kind of a two-part question. So the first, how did you get involved in the kind of paranormal side of things in the first place?
I grew up in New Hampshire. And we always had activity in the homes that I grew up in, and my grandmother always had strange things happening to her. I remember that we had a family Bible, and she used to write experiences, like in the margin of the Bible, because it scared her. She didn't know what it was, and she'd be like, oh, freaked out about it. And it always kind of like stuff happened in and around our family. And left California. I left New Hampshire, went to California, and really didn't think about it all that much in my 20s and 30s. And then my mother passed away, and she was the last of my family that passed away, and I had a really difficult time. I didn't handle it well at all. And I was looking for answers. It's a typical story. This happens to people all the time. They lose a loved one, and it kind of spurs their interest in what happens after you die and how to communicate with your loved ones. And I literally opened up the computer one day and started looking up paranormal groups and started joining meetup teams. And one thing led to another, and after joining several meetup groups after a while, I ended up having my own team and then my own meetup group, and I had my own team of 3, a private group, and then my public group, my meetup group, ended up growing to 250-plus people. And that's how it all got started, actually.
Oh, wow. And then how'd you get connected with Rolling Hills?
I was very busy with my own paranormal groups in California. I actually lived 20 minutes from the Queen Mary and Linda Vista Hospital close and all that kind of stuff. But a friend of mine was coming out to Rolling Hills. It was in 2008, June of 2008, June 13th. And it was a Darkness Radio event. And I decided last minute I wanted to go. And I happened to email Dave and I said, do you have any cancellations? I really want to go. And he did. So I ended up coming, not expecting that it was going to have the impact on my life that it had. I came and expected, a couple of days of really good investigating, being Patrick Burns and Chris Fleming and all those guys, Constantinos, and ended up having 3 off-the-hook nights of activity and pictures and EVPs that I couldn't get out of my mind. I mean, I met Roy for the first time that night. I got huge pictures of him standing in the doorway where you see his face and his coat and everything. He's like almost solid. Big hands that manifested I got in pictures. And it was just completely over-the-top amount of activity. And when I went back to California, I thought it was really amazing. And I always got really good pictures anyways. That's my thing. I get a lot of pictures. But I kept listening to the EVPs and looking at the pictures, even though I was busy with my own team. And over the course of the year, it just never subsided in my mind. But it wasn't like a big draw. Like I didn't think, I'm going to move here, or, geez, I wish I could buy it. None of that. Until I got a phone call from a friend of mine who lives up here and said, oh, my God, I have something bad to tell you. And I thought she was going to say she was getting a divorce or she was sick or something. And then she goes, Rolling Hills is closing forever. And I thought, she's joking. That's like saying, Waverly Hills is closing or Eastern States is shutting down or something ridiculous, So after about 20 minutes of going back and forth with her, I finally realized that she wasn't kidding. And it was like all of a sudden the bell went off and someone said to you, like, what you said, I'm sorry, your grandmother died. And I just literally started weeping. And it wasn't just like, oh, I'm teary-eyed over this. Like, oh, my God, what's going to happen to the spirits here? They're so intelligent. It's an amazing historical property. It's going to get demolished or vandalized. Oh, my God, it was like a completely off-the-wall, over-the-top, ridiculous reaction. And I'll be the first to say it was totally not normal. And it just really impacted me in a weird way. And I ended up talking to my husband, and one thing led to another, and he said to go out and look at it, and I came out, and he came out, and I ended up, here I am. I don't know what else to say. Here I am. Here I am. I'm living in, one room, and I miss my ocean, and I miss sushi, and, and I just got a bathroom door after 3 years, and, I'm living like worse than a college student, but I've never felt more fulfilled, and I feel like I'm doing something. I'm going to leave an impact on this world. I don't have any kids, and if I can save this property and maybe even, further the paranormal field, one little baby inch, that's a huge thing to be able to leave behind.
Oh, great. Now, totally unrelated, but I always got to ask this because we were talking earlier about weather things as well. So going from California to Western New York, even having lived in New Hampshire prior to that, that had to have been a huge shock.
Oh, yeah, I hate it. Don't ask me. I'll tell you the truth. I hate it. I hate the snow. I always hated the snow. I hate the snow worse here because it's like, Eskimoville. It's really terrible. It's really, last year, thank God, was a great year. The first year was terrible. It was miserable. And the humidity and the lack of the ocean really gets me. And, yeah, no, it's not my favorite place in the world. I'm still adjusting. But, what can I do? I can't pick up Rolling Hills and move it to California. I can't pick it up and, move it somewhere else. So I'm kind of stuck the way it is.
Which I'll add to out of that, Linda Vista is definitely would have been another one on my bucket list as well. For the people out there listening that maybe aren't familiar with the stories from Rolling Hills, can you tell them a little bit about Roy and the story with Roy and how the interactions you've had?
Sure. Roy is my favorite. Roy was born in 1890 to a banker and his wife. He had a couple sisters and a brother. And the banker, his father, was rather a snob. He felt that he was a prominent member of society. He had reputation to uphold. He had a place in the community that he needed to have people, put him on a pedestal kind of thing. And Roy, at 8 years old, was over 6 feet tall and had abnormally large features and looked completely different than his other kids. He didn't look quite, I don't want to say normal, but he looked very different. And it was an embarrassment to his father. So on the pretense that he was going to come pick him up, he dropped him off supposedly temporarily here at the Coyl farm, and he was going to come get him, and he never did. And so Roy ended up living out his life here, and his mother used to come visit him on the slide until somehow the father got wind of it and put a stop to it. But there was nothing wrong with Roy other than his size. Today he'd probably be a very wealthy man as a basketball player on some major pro team. But back then his father just didn't get it. He was different. But there was nothing wrong with him. He had full faculties, very intelligent boy, grew up to be a very smart man. His mother used to bring him a lot of books. He loved to read, so he had a full library and became very well educated, all self-taught. Loved classical music and all kinds of music. He died in 1942 at the age of 52 years of age from a heart attack. We know now that he probably had something called gigantism, which is caused from the tumor on the pituitary gland that makes you secrete abnormal amounts of growth hormone, and it makes you abnormally larger, and your features abnormally larger and a little bit maybe misshapen even. And he died. He was probably closing in on 7.5 feet tall. And he's huge. But he's amazing. He is probably my best friend in the building. I have a very big love for him, and I say that constantly. And people think you're crazy when you say you love a spirit. But I really feel like he and I have some sort of connection. Maybe I knew him in another life. I don't know. But he tends to look out for me whenever I have trouble in the building, be it spirit trouble or human trouble. He comes forth, and he looks out for me. I know that you know that George and I have done, George Lopez and I have done several spirit box experiments. And Roy will usually be one of the first people to come through and identify himself, and he'll be a liaison for the other spirits. And he always has a distinct, very deep, rich voice. And he just came through the other day, actually on last, I think it was Sunday during the day, and he goes, "It's Roy," and I love that. I love hearing it's Roy. It tickles me. It's so ridiculous, I know. But I love him to death, and he's got a really good sense of humor, and he loves the ladies, and And I know he looks out for me. And I can't be more grateful than that, to have someone, take care of me in that. Because it is, anytime you deal with spirit on a regular basis and put yourself in that environment, it's going to be a draining situation if you can't block some of the energy yourself, or if you just don't have someone there to be a buffer to some of the negative, more hostile spirits, which every place that there's a hospital or infirmary or that had mentally unstable people, there are going to be some people that have a negative impact on you. And it's nice to have him there to be the buffer zone for me.
Oh, wow. Now, this location had a bunch of different, if I understand correctly, a bunch of different uses during his course. I mean, it was, what they used to call like a, I don't even want to say like poorhouse or poor farm initially, right? And then kind of how time-wise, how did the breakdown of the history of the location go?
Well, it opened up January 1st, 1827 as the Genesee County Poor Farm, and it didn't have any changes for 110 years. So it stayed the Poor Farm for 110 years. That's a very long history. And then they built the Genesee County Infirmary attached to the place, which opened up in 1938. And it still had the Poor Farm and the infirmary. And then the next change didn't happen until 1964, so another 34 years or so. And then they converted one of the wings, the East Wing, into co-ed dormitory, and it became the Genesee County Nursing Home. And then it had just a brief stint, only 10 years. And then it closed down in 1974. And they moved all the residents out to Batavia to renew the facility, and it sat empty for 10 years. And then became the succession of the three private owners prior to me, so I'm only the fourth private owner.
Okay. Interesting. Now, so when it was the poor farm, or so that would be almost like I know it's not the same. It's not the same type of society or dynamic we're dealing with, but it's almost like just everyday people just that happen to be homeless or for some sort of circumstance or another lose things financially. There wasn't anything necessarily. It could have been due to sickness, but I mean there wasn't anything necessarily illness related to them during that time period. Correct?
Well, it would have been actually a hodgepodge of society. I mean, they were originally created almost like a welfare system, like that's the only terminology I can use. That it was almost like a welfare system to the community, a self-sustained compound. And it was a lot of the people lost their homes, lost their farms. There was a wide variety of people that came to live there: widows, orphans, drunkards, some criminals, including murderers and murderers, if they didn't have any room in the jails in town. They would bring you out here. There were mentally and physically disabled people that lived out here. We even had Civil War veterans and Native Americans on the censuses that show up. So it was really a complete hodgepodge of people, all types, men, women, children.
Oh, wow. John, I see we got some questions from the chat, and I'm sure you have some questions here for Sharon.
Oh yeah, we have a question from Louise Wolf. Or Louis. I'm horrible at names. How you doing, Sharon? By the way, I'm John.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And the question is we know that construction can kick up activity, but have you ever run across construction blocking or closing off activity? I guess Matt and Sharon both could probably address that.
Specifically at Rolling Hills, we're constantly cleaning things up. The place was left in a really, I'm not trying to say anything disparaging about previous owners, but the place was a complete mess when I got it. The first year we took out 7 tons of garbage, and last year we took out 240 for dumpsters. And for those of you that have been here and know me, I don't throw away anything unless it goes through my hands. I have to literally physically touch everything and deem it garbage, and it has to be pure garbage, or else I can reuse it in the building. If it's a broken cup, I can put it somewhere, and it will look like a cool piece of, the room that should be. So literally, it's like the stuff I throw away is really disgusting, like, cardboard or Like there were old pizza boxes and crap laying around like that. So I mean, literally pure garbage. So I'm constantly doing work and cleaning and trying to, like we have to fix the roofs and things like that. So for me, to be able to analyze whether or not it's calming the activity down or amping it up, it's always active for me in there, day or night, night or day, it's active. In generalization during that question, the theory is that when you do renovations or you move things around, you are disrupting the energy in locations and you are stirring up more activity. And in my experience in other locations as well, yes, that happens. But I'm so close to the situation, it's hard for me to be objective as to whether or not it's amping it up. I think it's always active.
Yeah, I would just add, and I was just going to add, as far as, I've seen that, heard that, some of the locations that I've interacted with multiple times that are doing kind of rehabs of those locations as well. It seems to be that the activity is increasing with the rehabbing of the location. Kind of on the flip side, but a lot of this is just anecdotal, so I mean, to take it for what it's worth. I have heard stories from some of the locations where asylums have been knocked down, where they've had weird things happen in whatever was built there, whether it was, a series of houses or a Walmart or the different things there. And I personally believe that whereas the activity could be altered, I'm sure that some things would remain behind. Now, I personally think most of, and this is, again, just my theory, but I think most of the entities, from what I've seen and been able to hear out there from other people's experiences, seem to be able to move. And they stay in those locations, I believe, for either some comfort level or they're looking for someone. There's some reason why they choose to stay there, or, in some cases they might convince themselves that they can't move. But I think in the case of like a Rolling Hills or like a Trans-Allegheny, these locations, this was their home for most of their time. This is where they were comfortable. So this is where they were. I mean, you hear stories of some of these locations when they shut down and moved the people, the patients there are just distraught because this is all they knew for a long period of their lives. So when that's gone, I don't know what they see. That's the one thing that's interesting. I've never really heard good responses to, does Rolling Hills prior to Sharon cleaning it up look like it does to us walking in there, having to get it cleaned up, or does it look like it does to them, when they were there? You have Alzheimer's patients where they find that when they start setting up rooms and things with things from like the 50s or the 60s, it actually calms them down more, that they, cause that's where they think they actually are. That's kind of what they're seeing. So I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there, but I think it's kind of a mixed bag. I think if there was big renovations kind of taking things down, I think some entities that were there out of comfort would leave. Others that feel for some reason tied to that spot, not necessarily the building, would still hang around. I know that it's kind of a long there, but...
You want to hear something interesting? I went to an auction not too long ago because I'm trying to buy some property things for our haunted attraction that we do at Halloween. And I picked up a chair that I wanted to try to convert into an electric chair for our haunted attraction. And I bought it for $2. It was a cool little chair. For $2, I can spring for $2. I mean, God, it's like people going that. So I brought it back, and I had it in this room, and a couple of my volunteers and I went in there, and we started trying to do some EVP sessions and flashlight activity. And long story short, we found out that we have a man that came in with the chair who is very distraught and upset, and he wants to go home, and it's his chair. The problem is we don't know where home is or where the chair came from because we bought it at an auction. So he's very distraught. He's now in a building that is unfamiliar to him with people he does not know, and he's very, very, very upset. He's not violently upset. He's distraught. And it makes me feel terrible. I feel horrible for him. This is about 3 weeks ago or so now, and I haven't gotten back in and tried to do another session with him. I asked one of the spirits that are in Rolling Hills, please try to go downstairs and try to make friends with this person. I don't know his name or anything at this point, but it's going to be an ongoing line of investigating at Rolling Hills because it's a new entity. It's a new line of thinking. You know, we brought someone in the room from outside. Can they interact with the people at Rolling Hills? Can they even see each other? Are they even on the same plane? We don't know any of this yet. But it's a really interesting concept and something that we definitely want to pursue.
Oh, wow. And I've heard, too, I don't know if anyone else out there has seen this or heard this. It was I know I've heard other stories out there, but this was something fairly local where there was an issue of the location itself didn't have any activity on it, but then when they went ahead and did a rehab or remodel, they brought in wood that ended up coming from a location that had a history to it. And in bringing that wood in and kind of building it, I think it was almost like they, just that kind of to give it more of like a rustic kind of weathered look. They took this old wood and kind of decorated the inside of the room with it and stuff. That actually, they started getting activity after that happened. And when they actually researched it, that wood came from a barn where something tragic happened at that barn. And so it was just kind of an interesting thing, again, kind of related to the chair story as well. So anyway, I'm seeing Lewis, who asked the question, is sending some more on here. I was asking because we did see a hunt in the dorms in an area they did some work in, and we got an apparition before they did the work. And now things just seem different, and we don't know what we will get when we compare. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's kind of a mixed bag, Lewis. I think it can kind of go both ways there, that in some cases it can, if whatever they were attached to gets destroyed, I could see them leaving. If what it was irrelevant, or they can, depending on what they can actually see and perceive, which we don't know, that could change things as well. And he says he'll be calling in later, so that'll be awesome. Well, yeah, that brings up another point, and if no one else was listened to this yet, your spirit box sessions with George, I was honestly on the fence with the whole spirit box thing. I have one. Kind of my approach on all these things is I'll take out the stuff and I'll experiment with it and kind of see whether the data kind of lines up or the data doesn't. I absolutely get blown away by those sessions you've done. And if anyone can look in the archives, or I believe there might even be some on your website as well related to this, it is something to really, really check out, because you will hear the spirit box at George's house in Florida, and you will hear voices, and he asks for, 4 people that he interacts with, and they say their names, and then you will hear them up at Sharon, up in Rolling Hills, up in New York. You'll hear those same voices start to go through, and interactions, and they'll start talking about George in Florida, and it is really, really an amazing experience. How was that to actually be there and hear that as it was going on?
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's so fascinating. I have to tell you, the very, very, very first time I ever experienced a spirit box, or actually an authentic Frank's box, was on the Queen Mary with Bill Murphy. And I'll never forget it, because he brought out this Frank's box from Frank Sumption, and all this conversation was happening, and he was asking questions, and we were getting these answers from the spirits, and I literally was like a magnet to that box. I could not get close to that box. If I could have crawled in the box myself, I would have crawled in the box. I just can't tell you what it was so fascinating to me. And then now to be able to have my own Frank's box and be able to do these dual sessions with George and get these results, I mean, it's just phenomenal. I mean, having them say the repeat answers multiple times, or sending Amanda up here to Rolling Hills and Roy down to Florida and talk to George's box, or saying things in the hallway that are just spirit interactive with spirit, clear as a bell, saying people's names. It's just so phenomenal. The other day, I have to tell you, I had a group in a private group, and they were kind of lighthearted group. They did a daytime hunt. And one of the guys, unbeknownst to some of the group members, took 3 cleaning bottles and stuck them out in the middle of the hallway. And they were all, and he totally wouldn't fess up to it. And I had a feeling who it was, because he can read people. And there's always, this guy was a little on the, I don't want to say punky side, but he was a practical joker. And I kind of knew who did it. I had a feeling. So he kept denying it. And then all of a sudden the bottles got moved in a triangle position. And I had a feeling this other woman did it. It's always the quiet one, in the group. And again, she denied it. And so then we went down to the second floor hallway where I always get the best results, and we broke up the spirit box. And one of the guys said, could you tell me if anybody in here put the cleaning bottles in the hallway? Clear as a bell, and I'm going to change the name to protect the innocent, but it was a very unusual Greek name, and he said, Artemis, but that wasn't a name, it was a name like that. Clear as a bell. I mean, it wasn't like Dan, or Ed. It was like Artemis, and everyone was like, oh, my God, we knew you did it. And then they said, well, can you tell us you moved into a triangle? And again, the woman's name was an odd name, and they said her name. And it was some, like, I don't know, Clementine, it was some odd name. And it was like, and she almost fell off her chair because she just couldn't believe. The spirit, like, totally bagged them, called them out, and said their names. Like, it was clear as a bell. It was so phenomenal. And when that happens, all these little interactions that we get all the time, it never ceases to blow me away. It's the most fascinating thing I've ever experienced.
It is amazing, and I mean, at the end of that session, if anyone out there gets to listen, where they actually there was like an agitated guy that I think it was I'm trying to remember now on this. I think it was a girl that was distraught, and there seemed to be some agitated guy, and they were trying to get him back into his room. And you can actually hear going back and forth on the boxes about we're working on it, and you could actually it was just really amazing hearing that.
Yeah, that was with Nurse Emma and the gentleman, the disturbed man in room 15, who we're still having problems with. We're still having quite the problems with him. There was a group of investigators last night, and they were walking out of his room, and he tugged on the woman's hair so hard she actually went backwards into his room. He doesn't like women, and if a man goes in there or men go in there, he backs down because he's a coward. And he backs down when the men challenge him. But when the women are in there, like when I go, he calls me every name in the book. Every name in the book. So we're working on him. We're working on him. I don't want to boot him out. People say, why don't you get him out of there? Why don't you just have him removed? But I don't want to do that. The poor farm was the last stop for people. It was like the end of the road. And for me to kick out someone this was his last stop, his last hope, it's like, it's mean, it's cruel. Where's he going to go? And if he goes somewhere else, he might not go somewhere where someone is going to understand what is going on, and it's going to be worse for him, or it's going to cause someone a lot of physical or mental pain, real pain. And at least I know what we're up against. I know who he is. I know what's going on, and we're working with him. And he knows he's got to start behaving and trying to live cohesively with all of us, living and dead. And it may be that he's mentally unstable and he just can't grasp that. But if we can rein him in enough so he isn't hurting people, which so far he hasn't hurt a living person, other than he did come out and he did hit my volunteer in the face. And she got a red mark underneath her eye. She's saying he hasn't hurt anybody. He got a red mark underneath her eye on him. But it hasn't been anything, drastic, thank God. But
oh, wow. Sharon, I have a question for you.
Sure.
It's a little bit off topic, but I was just wondering. I noticed that, I'm a big fan of Ghost Adventures. I know some people don't like Zach and stuff like that. And I noticed I've seen where they came out to Rolling Hills, and I personally think their episode was awesome. That kind of won me over when I saw the episode of Rolling Hills. And I've watched it several times. They really caught a lot of evidence, and I was just curious for my personal, just how were they to talk to? Like, was that evidence legit that they caught? Like the screens and the pictures they caught?
I believe that they're legitimate. I mean, I can tell you how. I don't know if you've ever been involved with any filming, and I've worked in the film business for years, and I forget that a lot of people don't understand how it shakes down. Basically, they come here, they're here for 2 or 3 days, and when it was time for interviews, like they brought me in by myself, interviewed me, I left the building, they brought in the next person. So I never heard how other people's interviews went or what they talked about. And then at night, I literally, physically locked them in. I was there, I brought them in the building, I locked them in the building, and I sat in my truck. And I was sitting in my truck, and they were locked in the building. So I opened up the door when Dave Schrader needed to get in, and I locked him back up again. I never saw them. I never talked to them and interacted with them. I know the activity level and what I get, so I believe what they got was authentic. I know they did play me one clip that they used on the show about Emma. They killed that right in the parking lot. They played that for me, but they're not going to share the evidence with me because they're trying to keep a surprise for the show. I've heard the screaming lady. Other people have heard the screaming lady.
Yeah, that's one thing I was getting at, because the scream. Have you personally heard the screams?
I heard the screaming lady once when I first got here, and literally it was outside during the day. It was like 3 p.m. I was with my handyman at the time. We just locked up the building. He was leaning on my car window as I'm writing out a list of things for him to do the next day, and it was like a blood-curdling scream through the brick building outside in the parking lot. You could hear it, and this woman is just screeching. And it went on for about a minute. I've never heard anything like it in my life. And it was, of course, I'm laughing at this point. I'm giggling because the guy jumped away from the car, his hair standing up in his arm, and I'm like, you're going to be in the building tomorrow by yourself. You know, I'm a real bitch. And, yeah, it was really kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, what's interesting now, what's happening is I haven't heard her again audibly with my ears. Other people have. And you can be in a group of 4, 5, 6, 8 people, whatever. 1 or 2 people may hear her. The other people may not. Some people may hear her and catch her on audio. Other people won't even catch her on audio. It's the strangest thing. Sometimes you won't hear it all, but you only catch her on audio as BVP. I don't know how this woman is entering our dimension. I don't know if it's residual. I don't know anything because there's so many weird variances that I haven't been able to track it.
No, I find that incident fascinating because I know, even Matt was with me. I've had similar experience at Penhurst where I have caught an EVP of a woman screaming at least 5 times. It's just a chilling scream, and I didn't hear it with my naked ear, but when I play it back on the audio voice recorders, you can hear it clear as day. And I just thought that was neat how Rolling Hills has that same type of scream as the Penhurst does.
It's really fascinating. I wish I would hear her again, with my ears. Excuse me. Although I'm actually very grateful that I don't, because I'm in the building so often by myself. I honestly think if she screamed bloody murder like that when I was by myself, it would probably be one of the few times that I would probably have a heart attack.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say. I was just saying sorry.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, I don't know what else to say about that.
Well, it is 10 o'clock, so it is time for us to take a quick break here to allow everyone to go get refills on their drinks or bio breaks or anything else you might want to do. So we're going to play actually 2 songs here tonight, so it's going to be about 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll be back with Sharon Coyle, Rolling Hills Asylum, in about 5 minutes. So hang in there, everyone. You're listening to Sunday Night Dead.
Birmingham, I wonder to myself.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sunday Night Dead. I'm Matthew Slozer from Autumn Moon Paranormal here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And with me tonight, my guest co-host, John Coyl from South Jersey Soul Searchers. And
good job.
I got it?
Yep, bingo.
I got the biggest mental block on his group's name, and I have absolutely no idea why, other than I'm just brain damaged. And our guest tonight is Sharon Coyle from Rolling Hills Asylum. Sharon, are you back with us?
I am. Thank you for having me, but I have to say that last little promo you just did leading into the show, you're disturbed. That's really unsettling.
Well, you know, most of the ones I've had were funny, and then when I've been recording these, and just so everybody knows, I got a bunch more I haven't done yet. This is just kind of be part of the little shtick here. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do one that if someone's sitting there listening to it in the dark, it's just gonna get to them. So we did the little angry orb, which is actually one of my daughters. My kids get a kick out of doing these things with me. So you know, obviously sound adjusted, and then believe it or not, that one was my voice adjusted. So anyway, John, this is right. Okay, I'm sorry. John Coyl, the certified knower of the unknown with a PhD in enthusiasm. I'm sorry.
And your title is?
We got your title. And yeah, Sharon, you missed this, but I was on Paranormal Kool-Aid on Wednesday, and we were kind of talking about how some people just get so bent out of shape and worked up over semantics on things. So I said I was just going to give myself a crazy title just to annoy people, and so I gave myself an odd title, so I went ahead and gave John one as well. So that's the deal with that.
I think that's awesome. Is that all going to fit on his business card?
Probably not, but his is shorter than mine. I gave mine Certified Paranormal Genius with a PhD in Excellence from the Paranormal Pantheon.
Okay.
And Peacekeeper too the other night.
Yeah, it was Gandhi. Yeah, it was because we were getting it was getting a little testy in the chat room there, so I was trying to be the peacemaker. One thing I'm curious about though, and I don't know because I don't know what the answer is going to be here. So since we're not, I don't know, like layout wise and things here. So many of us would love to check out this location, but we haven't seen the location yet. So I'm curious about kind of just general layout, but then what I'm really curious about is what I have found in locations is there always seems to be areas that are active, but for some reason people just tend to not gravitate to them. Either there just aren't a lot of stories there or anything, but if you talk to the people that are actually in the location long periods of time, such as yourself, you know that, this is there's stuff that goes on here. It's just people don't hang out in these areas for a lot of time for some reason. So I was kind of curious about that, kind of the under-investigated areas of Rolling Hills. And if you could just kind of give us a real brief general overview of just kind of how it's laid out, because it looks massive from the pictures. So
it is massive, and it's funny on the road. People say, "Oh my God, I never knew it was so big," until we start doing the tours. And it is 54,000 thereabouts square feet of building space. And we have the old West Wing, which was built in 1938. Then we have the long East Wing that was built in 1958. The West Wing has 4 stories: basement, first floor, second floor, and third floor, which is the attic area. And then you've got, which isn't really nice, full walk-up. And then you've got the East Wing, which is 3 floors: basement, first floor, second floor. And then in the basement of the West Wing, you go down a tunnel, and you come out at the top where there's a big laundry room. So it's very huge. And at a full clip, doing a historical tour, just literally pointing out the hot spots, talking a little bit about the history and the paranormal activity, and stopping in just, a few of the rooms in every floor. At a full clip, if no one's wandering, it's an hour and a half to the minute. If people start asking a lot of questions and start wandering away from the group, it can go as long as 2 hours on a brief tour. It's really ridiculous. And I try to, eliminate some of the information, but then I just don't do justice to the buildings. It's really a fine line I tread there. And as you said, there are places that people don't gravitate to because I can't I don't have the time to stop in every single room and say, this room has this room has this happens here. I can only do so many places per floor, or else all I would be doing for 8 hours would be talking about the whole building, and no one would have time to investigate. And so it's unfortunate.
That's why I love, and I've mentioned this before, that, you know, I'm very into depth over breadth, and, you know, that's why, you know, locations like that, you have to, I think it would take multiple times in there just to feel like you gave the first kind of thorough go over the location to get a feel for kind of what's going on there. And, I mean, I found in any of the historical locations that we've done that, you know, there's different characteristics and there's different personalities. As we mentioned earlier, I don't think they're particularly tied or necessarily glued to a spot. I think they have areas that they prefer more than others, but I think kind of based on that mix, you know, there's different kind of vibes and different kind of interactions you're going to get in different parts of the building. Now, we got a specific question in the chat room about the Christmas room, so I just wanted to ask you a little bit about, and specifically what you think of the Christmas room, but for some people out there that aren't as familiar, if you could just give a little background on that room as well.
The Christmas room is a sad room right now. The Christmas room was originally the inmates' dining room. That's what the original purpose was for that room. And when the second private owner purchased the property, they had decorated it like a Christmas room with false walls made of paneling and carpeting and Christmas trees and packages in the bed and all sorts of toys and things like that. And then the previous owners, to me, when they had a lot of Christmas shops, kept the room like that, and they discovered during her tenure that there were a lot of children's spirits in that room. And it was a very popular room, and I loved it like that. Unfortunately, the second spring, I got here in spring of 2010, went through a really bad winter in that winter, December into January 2011. And in the spring, because it's such a heavy winter, we had a lot of problems on the flat roof. There's a flat roof down in the pitch roof. Why would they build flat roofs in snow weather? I have no idea. But we had a lot of leaking in there, and there were a lot of clogged drains that we weren't aware of. And so there was a lot of leaking, and everything got completely drenched. All the paneling got destroyed, and there was so much moisture in that room, in the carpeting and the cardboard from the packages and everything else, that I had to make a decision to get rid of everything, or most of it that was wet, because it would have been a health issue. And so I got rid of everything that was damp and threw it out. I had to. And we saved a few things, and we're still having some issues in there. So we haven't decorated it like it used to be. We do have some stuff in there, very limited. But it doesn't matter. We still get a lot of activity in that room. There's still a lot of children activity in there. Someone had brought in, probably the first year I was there, a little yellow and green, kind of like a John Deere plastic truck. And it tends to go off flashing and making alarm noises on its own. And it's so amazing because no one will go near it, and nobody will touch it. It'll be sitting on the table. In the middle of a tour during a conversation, it would just start going off. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. If there were batteries in it, the batteries would be dead by now because it's been 3 years there. So I don't know. The activity level is still really high. If people come out, they're going to be a little disappointed in the decor, but it doesn't really matter because the children are still there.
Oh, wow. Kind of related to this, I'm just I love the whole kind of location thing here, so just kind of bear with me on here. But since you're obviously in the location a lot, you're in the location alone a lot, like you mentioned about if you heard that blood-curdling scream, that would certainly give you quite a shock. What is the area in the building that you would say you feel, or areas that you would feel like the least comfortable in? So areas you wouldn't like to go in necessarily like alone, or that you have kind of just an uncomfortable feeling in?
Well, right now, since we're having a problem with the gentleman in door number 15 up in the administration, I wouldn't want to necessarily spend too much time up there alone. I mean, I go through the whole building by myself. I have to, and I can't let them make me feel overwhelmed or uneasy. Am I more cautious in certain areas and more aware that I'm in there by myself and I need to, do what I need to do and get out of there because you never know what's going to happen, I would say it'd be right around door number 15 just because I don't trust the spirit in that room right now. And, honestly, do I like going down the tunnel in the pitch black without a flashlight? Hell no. But, will I do it? Absolutely. But, it's, a lot of times you have to remember, sometimes what you have fear of is fear of the unknown. It's not necessarily fear of the spirit. It's your mind. It's mind over matter in a lot of reasons, in a lot of cases. So, it's just creepy going down the tunnel no matter where you are. But really right now I'm more uneasy if I went upstairs in the middle of the night by myself and had to go and deal with Steve in room 15. I don't trust him is my problem. I don't trust him. And so I'm cautious.
I understand. That's funny what you said about the just the unknown and just kind of the uncomfortable things in general. That is why I was a huge horror movie buff and loved horror movies, and I don't watch horror movies anymore. Not that horror movies necessarily, freak me out or anything, but the last thing I want to do, like John had mentioned before, I'll kind of go off on my own to the extent that I can. And the last thing I need is if I'm in a dark area is, visions of the girl from The Grudge, crawling down the floor behind me or something. So I just decided don't give my imagination any additional ammo to kind of kick up on me when I'm in dark places alone. So I don't watch the things anymore. And it really doesn't happen all that often, but where the light bulb went off is, and it actually was The Grudge. I had to go up into a attic crawl space on a private investigation once, and as I'm going up there, and again, we have lights off except for the flashlight, I'm just going up through that tunnel, and that's all the thing I'm picturing is the Grudge girl right on the other side of the thing there. And fortunately, nothing happened, and no dude run moments, but kind of along those lines, have you had anything ever happen there that was a big shock? Like, obviously, if you heard that big scream, that would make you jump, but, any unusual bangs or seeing somebody that you didn't expect to see at the time or something? So, not necessarily saying that it scared you, but just something very unexpected that shocked you in the building.
Well, it was funny. I was on a tour one night, and I tend to walk backwards and walk and talk so I can face the group. And we were wrapping up the tour. We were rounding the corner to go to George's room upstairs on the 4th floor administration. And as I turned around to walk around the corner, I literally did one of the backpedaling off my feet, kind of like, holy crap, oh my God. Because I literally, it wasn't that I was scared, it just surprised me. I walked into like a partial person, and I could see he was wearing light blue and white striped pajamas, the pale blue, like hospital pajamas, but they were light blue and white, and they had a very small, narrow, tan stripe going through it. And I didn't see his face because he was taller than I am, and I was looking straight ahead. He must have been a good, 6-something, 6'2" or 3, and I'm only 5'2", so I literally was looking at his chest. And I thought someone had broken into the building, and I literally did one of the back pedals. And I was on a tour where there had been several people on the tour that had been on the tour before with me, and they all know I walk around the building a lot of times without a flashlight and whatever. And they were like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, I just walked into somebody. And I thought that for a split second in my brain, I thought someone had broken into the building. That's what startled me, because he was so solid. And then I realized, he was gone as fast as he was there. And so that just surprised me.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, see, we have a caller in, and I know this area code. Former area of eastern Pennsylvania, 215. So, again, Sharon, I'll add this. Sometimes when I kind of pull these people on hot, I joke around about a month ago, I had a guy come on that started imitating the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and was doing the little Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap thing. So you never know what you're going to get, but
oh, goodness.
See who we have here. If it'll load up. Come on.
All right, it's Lewis Wolf.
Hey, how you doing, Lewis? Yes, we've been talking to Lewis in the chat room a lot tonight. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Calling from the city, but not from West Philadelphia, but definitely from the city. Calling Art Institute Ghost Hunters. I've been on the show a few times. Calling two things. I wanted to ask a question to the guys, and also just about the conversation going on right now about the, what I wrote in on the chat, the paranormal paranoia, freaking out. You don't want to watch a horror movie before investigation. And I made a rule with my team that we watch something funny before and after each hunt. Watch a comedy movie before we go on investigation. That's just a little thing to throw in there. But I wanted to ask, I've had the pleasure of being at Rolling Hills, and I wanted to ask for those that were there, that are on the show. So you might remember the second floor, the long hallway. You see a lot of shadow activity, and it ends with like a big, not that big, but large windowed room. You can see out over the parking lot and out into the wooded area, off the hill. When we were there, we had a decent-sized group, and we were all just kind of sitting in the hallway, on folding chairs. We're hearing banging and clanging all around us, and every room is either full to burst with boxes or just bare empty. And I got off at one point off my chair and I started knocking, and it was funny because I went shaving a haircut, and I stopped we got clink boom on a loud response. And I was wondering in that area, if you can imagine being in that area, how predominant the activity was there for you, because I'm wondering if that was like a major hotspot that we were a part of that in that moment.
How long ago were you there, John?
It had to be been maybe 5 years.
Oh gosh, you have to come back now. I have it cleaned up tremendously, and there's I know back in the day, most of the rooms weren't open. I have about 98%, 99% of the rooms open and clean, meaning that if they're not empty, then we have them at least with some pieces of furniture so investigators can go in and sit and investigate, or they're dressed similarly what they used to be back in the day, so it's really good. The room that you're talking about is the solarium on the second floor, shadow hallway, and yes, we get a lot of activity, a lot of big bangs and booms. Matter of fact, on the tour, I always stop for a moment and take pause and let people hear the building, which is bone quiet. You'll hear chirping from the crickets and then the bone quiet. And when activity starts to amp up in the shadow hallway is when you can start getting a lot of the clicks, the bangs, the pops, the creaks, and you can actually ask for them to make noises, and they'll make louder and louder bangs and creaks, and it almost sounds sometimes like big pieces of wood and furniture are being twisted and snapped. It can be so loud. And it's pretty amazing. And we've actually even asked them for new sounds that we haven't heard before, and we'll start hearing new dings and dings and pongs that we haven't heard in the past. It's very, very active. And the solarium is really fascinating now. We keep the doors shut because there's a tall man named Jack who paces back and forth back there, and there are two windows in the door of the solarium that let in ambient light from the outside into the hallway, and the light will actually bounce and reflect on the wall on the right. When you're facing the wall, it'll be the wall on the left. And Jack will pace back and forth back there and put his face in the window to look out in the hallway. And when he does, it actually blocks out the light that would be streaming through that window and will block out the reflection of the light on the wall. So it's actually a solid mass effect as it's actually impeding the light source. And it's quite amazing. And he does move sounds of moving furniture, and you'll hear furniture dragging and things moving, and then you open the door and nothing's moved. It's remarkable.
I remember all of that very well. It was an incredible place.
It's seemingly more so. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
I was just going to ask.
I need to get back.
This is pretty interesting because when I was looking through the site and looking at everything, and I'm not saying anything psychic with this or anything, but when you're just looking at different places or you just get a feel that's a place I got to check out. And I'm pretty sure from the pictures that it is actually the area you're describing. That when I was going through the pictures, there actually it was the set that you have on the your pictures that you have on the website, Sharon, that scroll through. And I was like, I got to definitely check out that area. That just seems like a good spot to hit, and I think it is that solarium section. So that's awesome.
I just want to mention something, and just as a point of reference. I am very fortunate and very grateful that I have a lot of repeat people that come And I'm not talking just the locals. I'm talking about people from out of state, as far as, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Florida, Texas, multitude of times since I've been here. I've only owned the place for 3 years. The other night, this guy had come, and he's been there many times, and I didn't realize quite how many since I owned the place until I asked him. He's been here 9 times. That's a lot of money to spend to come and visit a location. And I am very appreciative of all the people that do keep coming back and find value in their experiences here, and that they feel it's worthwhile to keep coming because there's so much activity. And I just want to say I'm very grateful to people that do make the trip, even once. But people tend to get hooked. They get addicted. They really do. It's crazy.
Oh, I know, and I know John's got one place closer to him that he's been to multiple times. I have one that's a little closer to me that I would say it's the same thing. People have asked me if I believe in addiction to a building, because I've been there 10 times documenting things there and stuff. So I totally get that, and again, I cannot wait. I don't think you were on when I was saying it, Sharon, that our idea is members of my team and kind of other people that might be interested. We're going to call it Paracation 2013, and there's a bunch of different locations between Central North Carolina and where you're at. So we're going to basically do a road trip, and the main centerpiece of that whole trip is going to be the investigation up at Rolling Hills. But we're going to kind of work our way up and hit some spots. I mean, it might even be the other thing I like doing, too, is some of these things off the road, they might not even be open for investigations, but some places are just kind of cool to do little off-the-road tours, walk in and things. And I've had a couple odd things happen doing those already as well. So we're going to kind of just make it a whole paranormal vacation road trip thing. And, again, the centerpiece of it will be our stay up there, but we'll work our way up and investigate Rolling Hills and then work our way back down.
Oh, how fun. I miss para road trips. I don't get to do those anymore. I'm very happy being here, but I miss those little, going and exploring other places. I don't have that opportunity anymore. I'm always here. I'm married to the building.
Well, that's neat. I mean, that is the ultimate in-depth investigation. I mean, you get to experience it at a totally different level.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, who would have thought, I came here at a spur of the moment. Be careful where you go, because you never know. You may be moving and buying a place. Sometimes places just call your name. I don't know. It's so strange. I never would have thought. If somebody would have asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, oh, my God, you're going to be owning an old asylum, and be like, yeah, no. Are you kidding? You're out of your mind.
Well,
they're laughing at me now.
I did want to give a chance here, because this has just been awesome, and thank you so much, everybody out there in the chat room, and thank you, Louis, for calling in. Again, I feel like we're just scratching the surface here, but I want to make sure we get the chance for you to let all the listeners know all the different things that you have going on out there, because if anyone is friends or follows the Rolling Hills Asylum site, there's a bunch of different activities that are going on up there, so I would love for you to be able to tell the listeners out there about it.
Well, we do everything from tours to ghost hunts and anything in between. We're into the latter part of the season, of course, but we do historical, 1.5-hour historical tours, 2-hour flashlight tours. We'll do daytime ghost hunts, believe it or not, which we get a lot of activity during the day, 4-hour detained daytime hunts. We also do the 8-hour public hunts called captives, the 4-hour nighttime hunts called detains, and we do private groups called quarantines, and you get locked in there. As far as special events, believe it or not, I'm already in October in my mind, so October is dedicated to our haunted attraction. I kind of went into the thought of doing a haunted attraction with kicking and screaming. I didn't really think I wanted to do something like that, but it's really kind of fun. I'm enjoying the theatrics of it, and I'm enjoying the crowds that come, and they always end up coming back. I shouldn't say always, but a lot of people that are too nervous or don't know what to expect during the ghost hunt will come on a haunted attraction, and the fun of it for Halloween, and then they come back and they do ghost hunts, and they really get into it, so that's been a real interesting thing. And the volunteers that come out and actually help do the scares, they end up having quite a lot of activity during the night. It's pretty amazing. Last year during the tours and the haunted attraction, a lot of my regular volunteers that are in the building, quite a bit, like a lot, were having crazy activity that were freaking them out, like things that were happening that they'd never seen before. So even though we're doing a theatrical haunted attraction during Halloween, you still get a lot of real paranormal activity happening. It's pretty interesting. It's almost like they like to join in and help scare the people. The haunted fun, too. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what's you're doing something with I don't know, maybe it's over already, but were you doing something with horror movies in the asylum?
I haven't any time recently, but we do rent it out as a location for filming. We did The Haunted Boy there with the Duke brothers, and that was really great. I was able to produce the film with them, parts of the film, the documentary, the reenactment portions. So we do use it as a film location. We do get people in there filming from time to time. We'll do photo shoots. We have a photo shoot coming up with Scarlett Noir, and she does glamour, kind of retro 40s photo shoots. So she's doing something in the next couple weeks there. So yeah, we rent it out for different things. Special events. I have someone who's contacted me about possibly having a wedding there in 2013, which would be fun.
Oh, wow.
So.
Cool. Now, one of the just quick, this just kind of popped into my head, is so that location, it's a huge location. Is it all one large connected building, or are there different buildings on the complex?
The part that I opened for investigation is all connected, so you don't ever have to leave the outside. It's 54,000 square feet of connected space. There are a couple of outbuildings, but I don't allow people to go out there to them for various reasons that I don't need to get into right now. But right now, we don't allow any outside investigations at all.
Okay. Yeah, I've only ever seen the pictures of that main. It's huge, but the main one. So I wasn't sure if there was other buildings out there on the property or not. John, I believe you had another question or something from the chat room.
Yeah, I had a question on a side note. Sharon, I know you do a lot of for the Halloween season. You do ghosts, like haunted house type attractions.
Mhm.
I was just curious. I know that because I've been to Pennhurst several times, and I know I've talked to the owner of Pennhurst, and sometimes he runs into a conflict with people thinking that it's morally wrong, or it's they protested or they're upset about it. Do you find that up there in Rolling Hills, or is that just something more towards the Philadelphia area?
Well, I had that internal struggle, as I said earlier, that I had that internal struggle when I first got here. And for the first 2 years, we did a haunted attraction with haunted historical tours, where we actually told the history, and we had guided tours, and we had scares in there. And this year, we're actually forgoing the historical tour part and just doing the actual theatrical haunted scare. We only do it in the basement. It's all temporary items set up in there, so we're not doing any damage to the building. And I don't do it throughout the whole building, only the basement level. And I had to actually weigh the moral aspect of it, what I was doing, the moral aspect of doing something like that, with, honestly, and I'm going to be truthful with everyone, the financial gain. It's a long winter. My mortgage doesn't stop. I have repairs that need to be done on the property. Roofs need to be fixed. Grouting for the brick, mortar. There's a lot of expense. I am not a 501c3. I'm not entitled to grants at this point. And even if I were entitled to grants, there's so much competition that people think, oh, you can get a grant. It's not that easy. There's so many properties and other people out there vying for the same small amount of grant dollars that there's no guarantee you're even going to get it. So honestly, it will help with the long-term care and repair and sustainability of the property. So I have to look at the bigger picture and just do what I think is best to keep the building open and keep it in good condition. And that, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, is meaning I have to go down that road. But I try to do it I try to do it in a way that's respectful to the building where we're not doing damage to it.
I personally agree with you. I was just curious. I know I talked to the owner at Penhurst, and he's saying the same thing. You know, he does the haunted stuff to make money. He puts a lot of it back into the facility to keep it going, so other people can gain from ghost hunting and stuff. I think that's awesome.
You know, and people have said, "Oh, I can't believe you're gonna do this." And I look at them and I'll say to them, and I'm very outgoing and I'm very blunt, and I mean, people either like me or they don't like me because I don't pull any punches. I'm a Scorpio, and you ask me a direct question, and I'm going to answer you. And you may not always like the answer, but this is the answer I'm going to give you. I could do it another way, sure. I could start raising the pricing on the ghost hunt. I could start being more pricey like Trans-Allegheny. Not anything disparaging about those people. That's on my bucket list. I'm dying to go to Trans-Allegheny. I'm not singling them up. But other haunted locations charge a lot more than what I charge. I haven't raised my prices in 3 years because I'm understanding and respectful of the paranormal investigator, because I've been on that side of the fence where I have to lay out the money to go to these locations. So I'm trying not to raise my prices for everyone so they can enjoy coming and investigating and gaining more experience and knowledge. So, I could take the stance where, okay, I'm not going to do the haunted attraction, but I'm going to make money somehow, so I'm going to raise prices for you guys. Or I can be on the side that I want to be on, the side of the investigator, and say, look, I'm going to hold my prices. I'm going to keep it accessible, keep it affordable. But to do that, I still have to be able to make these repairs. What am I going to do? What's another alternative? And that's to do the haunted attraction. So, like it or not like it, agree with me or not agree with me, but the long and the short of it is I'm doing it for the best of everybody and the best for the building.
I was just going to say, I agree, and that's the one thing. I know some, again, I've seen kind of drama rants on all kinds of goofy things like, calling something evidence review and things like that. But, on this side, I know some people kind of bash the shows, but that's the one thing that I'm very thankful for these shows and increasing the popularity of this, because there's so many locations out there, historic buildings that are really, have great history to them and really have a value to them, that now this increased interest in having more people willing to come in and pay for, various, whether it's to come in and do a historical tour, to come in and do a ghost hunt, to come in and just, have the haunted house effect in a, larger, creepier building. That's a good thing, and it's helping us. People are willing to do it. People are willing to pay to do it, and it's helping preserve buildings that otherwise, some of these places, there's one out near Pittsburgh that got knocked down, and then it turned around and got knocked down before the building permits went through. They can't build anything on the location, so now it's just a big field. It's a shame.
What a shame. What a shame. Well, and honestly, think about it. Think about the whole big picture here. I literally, heard about this place from it being on Ghost Hunters and Dave Schrader doing the events here. I would never have known about this place otherwise. And look what happened. This was in 2008. By 2010, I was the owner. Who the hell would have figured that one out? I seriously, don't you think I think about that every day? Literally, who the hell would have thought that? I was happy living in Huntington Beach, California. I'm out on the beach in my nice little clean, older townhome with a nice kitchen and stainless steel appliances, and walking my dog at the beach every day, and going to Queen Mary and doing my investigations with my teams and having a lovely little life. And now I live in the middle of the Nuke of the North, in the middle of nowhere with no ocean, and Walmart is the only store I got close by. No offense to Walmart. But, look at the hell. Jesus, who the hell would have figured that one out? So, yeah, the shows, and maybe that's my calling. I have a sales and marketing background with big international trade shows and special events. I worked in the film business for 15, 20 years. I worked for March of Dimes the United Way. All this collective experience has allowed me to come in here and be able to walk into creating and going forward with ghost hunts, special events, doing a haunted attraction. I don't know anything about a haunted attraction, but I know about the film business and how to make things look like they should for film, and it all ties together, and all of that collective experience is bringing attendees in, which is bringing in revenue, which is allowing me to save this building. Who the hell would have figured that one out? Not me. I grew up in New Hampshire in a one blinking light town. Who the hell? I had no idea. So, I mean, you never know what past life is going to bring you. You don't know what inspiration is going to hit you from watching a show. You don't know. Maybe 5 years from now you could be owning a building. I hope so. I hope other people are able to step up to the plate and save some of these locations. It's not easy. It's a life choice. It's a life sacrifice.
Hey, Matt, that conversation sounds a lot like the lady you talked to several weeks ago from Trans-Allegheny. The same. I remember her saying she moved up there to visit her dad, and her dad asked her to run it. It's almost that same experience.
Absolutely, and there's a number of others, and I'm sure there's a lot more than I'm even aware of that are going on like this. And I totally agree with you, Sharon. I hope it continues to happen, because I do believe there's a lot of historical buildings that, originally 10 years ago might be viewed by the communities that have them as just this, eyesore that they need to get rid of, that actually does have a viable commercial value to it. It's just people just need to be able to see it, and then that commercial value can turn around and help rehab the building, and then we're actually preserving, more of our history. I mean, I just get totally blown away by part of why I like the asylums and things. When you go to the whole history of it, it was this whole self-functioning, self-sustaining, just the whole overall logistics and operations. When you think about this, these were, built before cars, so they kind of had their own farm, they had their own processing, it's just the whole, it's really a lost, just that whole setup like that. And so it's just the whole history and how things are set up and how the things were built. Just on so many different levels, I find it fascinating. And so I'm so happy and certainly appreciative to you, Sharon, as being one of those individuals that are so passionate about saving a location here. I just think it's a great thing.
Well, you know what else I find really interesting? Thank you, by the way. I find it really interesting, and I don't know, I know 4 locations off the top of my head. Trans-Allegheny, Waverly Hills, the Hillview, me, we're all owned and or operated by women. How weird is that? I know Bobby Matthews isn't owned by a woman, but I think a woman runs it. Wanda, I think she runs it. I think it's interesting, and I don't know what that means. I don't know. There's some weird common thread. There's got to be something why that is. I don't know why. I'm sure there's other major locations out there that are either owned or operated by women, but I find it odd that that the women are drawn to these locations. And I'd like to do more research on it. I don't know what it is about us and these buildings. But it's there. I find it interesting. I think it's another whole line of conversation.
Yeah, I think I'll add to that list too. Although I don't know for sure, it's just my gut feel. I think that's also part of the story with South Pittsburgh as well. Although I know that they're both very interested in that location. I believe Cindy was more the driver there as well.
It's very odd. I think it'd be worth doing some more exploration on that.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, okay, I'm curious on this, and I ask this every time too. But you said you missed kind of the road trips, and they're out there doing it. You live in a location which, to some of us investigators, would be an absolute, awesome thing. It's kind of like investigation 365, 24/7. But if you could get out there and investigate some other places, what would be some of the ones on the top of your bucket list?
Oh, the definite top, of course, would be Coyle. I've always wanted to go to Trans-Allegheny. I think the architecture is absolutely amazing. It's just a place that I've always been drawn to. Always been drawn to. That would probably be the one, the cream of the crop for me, would be to go there. I don't know. I'd like to go to Europe.
Awesome. I was going to make a little plug there that we're setting, and John's in on this too. This has been kind of this informal off the radio show conversation that has been growing, but I go there a lot because it's not that far from me, and some people had approached me about getting enough people and just kind of setting up a private investigation up there in the spring, and so we are working on that. So I will also, again, don't know how the schedule will go with your facility there and everything, but I will extend the invitation to you as well, Sharon, if you would like to join us on that trip, I will let you know when we're doing it.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. I mean, I can't promise anything because, I'm kind of like married to my building, but you never know. You never know what happens. Who knows? But if I could, I would.
And it's interesting how, and I'm sure this is the case. Well, you said that with Roy. The last investigation I've done was up there, and it's interesting. I caught this audio where in Lily's room we talked about. I have some friends that got some male voices in there, and so I just said, I'm like, there's some people that don't think there's a little girl in here at all, and I record a male's voice that says yes and hello again, which I think is really awesome because not only is that a response to the question, but it implies intelligence and it implies recognition that this person has been there and has seen me there before and has talked to me before. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah, it's funny because, we really have a lot of intelligent haunting. I would say the most of the activity in Rolling Hills is intelligent. We get a lot of interactive conversations. I get them pivoting on things that I'm doing and either making fun of me or helping me. It's really funny. We have a room called the Green Room. I'll try to be brief. And it's like the holding area. There's coffee pots in there and stuff like that for everyone to hang out in. And I sent the group out after the tour to go off and investigate. And I'm in there, and I'm a couple different stories very similar to one another. I had a recorder going, and I was trying to fix some lights in the display case. So I'm tagging all my moves. Sharon opening the display case, Sharon opening the batteries, Sharon doing this, all the noises I'm making. And I play it back, and I'm listening to the recording, and I'm hearing, and it's like, oh my God, I'm breathing really heavy. I got to lose some weight, And then I realized, no, it's a guy breathing over my talking and over what I'm doing. And then at the very end, after the course of 5 or 6 minutes, you hear me fixing one light in the battery, and the light goes on. Oh, great. And I'm struggling with the other light. And at the very end, you can hear the guy go, turn him around the other way. I had the batteries in backwards. He was trying to help me. And I think it was a man on oxygen. He was breathing so heavy. He was standing beside me. He was literally on top of me. And, trying to help me. He was like, like your dad. Looking over your shoulder. Yep, you're not doing it right. Nope, turn around the other way. And it was hilarious. And we get a lot of stuff like that, a lot of interaction. On the same vein, I was in the room again, and I have a snack, a rack of snacks for, when people want to eat something. And I buy the stuff. You think I would know it's on the snack rack, right? But I'm looking, I'm like, oh, there's a Slim Jim, and it's got Tabasco. Oh, awesome. And I looked at the label, and it had red and green on it. If it wasn't Tabasco, I'm like, damn, it's not Tabasco. So, all right, I'll have the teriyaki one. I had the recorder going. And I listened to the recorder afterwards, and after I said, I'll have the teriyaki one, a guy goes, I thought it was Tabasco, but it's not. And he's, mocking me. And it was hilarious, But, I mean, that's a completely intelligent conversation there. I mean, it's not just, random. It's amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I want to make sure we're not done yet, but I want to make sure before we run out of time that I give everybody the chance to give out their information if people would like to learn more or contact you. So, Sharon, for anyone out there that wants to learn more about Rolling Hills or set up an investigation there, how can they get in touch with you?
It's rollinghillsasylum.com or info if you want to email me at rollinghillsasylum.com. We're on Facebook as the official Rolling Hills Asylum Facebook page. I do want to mention, I forgot to mention earlier, thanks for giving me the opportunity, that we do have special quarantine hunts during the week that are cheaper than the ones on Friday and Saturday. Less expensive, less expensive than the ones on Friday and Saturday. The ones on Friday or Saturday nights are usually 10 hours long, and they're $1,050. But if you do a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you can do an 8-hour private for you and your group of 10 people for $675 plus tax because it's midweek. I mean, that's $67.50 a person. That's pretty damn cheap. And you get the same activity. But I did that because there are a lot of people that work in the service industry, like, waiters and waitresses. They have Sundays off. They get Tuesdays off, hairdressers and things like that. And it makes it nice that they have an opportunity to come in and do it private. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll we'll be targeting midweek when we do our paracation thing. So, because I definitely want to do the private in that location. So, John, how about people that want to get in touch with you? What's your contact information?
Well, my contact information is South Jersey Soul Searchers is my website. A small little group right out of South Jersey, and I also have a Facebook group page, South Jersey Soul Searchers. You can add. I have tons of links. I have Matt's links to his team and different links. And I also want to say, on a side note, I love Sharon's website, whoever created it.
I do it all myself. Thank you.
Did you really? I love it. It's very informal. It's very simple to follow, and I don't know why, I just love the quarantine, the capture, and detain. I think that's so cool with the little names you made for the special events.
Hey.
I just wanted to plug that for you.
Hey, bye. Thank you. I did it all myself. I have no web experience, and I do it all myself. So thank you.
Yes, it's very informal. Yeah, it's very informal. Like I said, there's a lot of information. I've been looking at it, and it's very broke down. And I just wanted to plug that for you because it looks like you took a lot of, you did a lot of work on it.
Thanks. And I'm a little bit behind. I'm a little bit bogged down. I haven't updated in a while. If people do want to send links and stuff, there's a page on the site on the left sidebar saying if you want to share your link. Send me the information. Honestly, it may take me a little while to get it up and to send you my stuff, but do let it change. I'm really excited about doing that. I'm just a little bit behind.
That's right. Lots of good evidence and things on that location is on that site as well. I haven't been able to get through all of it yet, but I would agree. It's an awesome site. So, well, I must say that thank you very much. It's always one sign of a good show is when the time absolutely flies, and this has. I can't believe we're at the end here already, but thank you so much for coming on and speaking with us. I would love to have you back on in the future. So it seems there are a number of people very interested in the site, myself as well, and I cannot wait until, again, I'm going to probably target summer. I'm a winter weather wimp, so I want to be definitely out of any snow zone in that part of the country, which, for all I know, could be after Memorial Day. So, but we will definitely plan on setting that up. I cannot wait to get up there. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Again, Sharon Coyle from Rolling Hills Asylum. And John, thank you very much for.
Well, thank you. Well, first off, I would take a couple seconds. I want to thank Sharon because I'm just fascinated by Rolling Hills. I cannot wait to go, and hopefully Matt we can work something out and meet you up there. And thanks for being on. And of course, Matt, thanks for letting me co-host. I hope I didn't screw up too bad. And I think the reason why the show went fast and well is because you have a new title. I think now the Orb, this new title has really your focus now.
There it is. So you throw that paranormal pantheon out at people, and that just means something.
So funny. Well, thanks guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was really great to speak with both of you, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Sharon Coyle, everybody. And as soon as my little studio audience can get, there we go.
And don't forget to mention your show next week, Matt.
Oh, definitely will.
The Roundtable Paradrama.
So next week we have Paradrama Roundtable Part 2. The Paradrama Roundtable Part 1 was a very interesting show, actually. We had a lot of interested people call in or send in questions and things, so it went very well. We get to talk about the different drama things going on out there, and particularly my pet peeve is the whole policing of the paranormal field, and really what gives people the impression that they somehow have the right to go ahead and start calling out what other people are doing, again, outside of obvious frauds. So it is always an interesting topic. So we will be doing that next week at 9 o'clock. We will have a panel for that roundtable discussion. So anyone out there listening, if you're interested in joining the panel, go ahead and send me a message. I'll quick give my plugs here. Matthew Slozer, we have the Sunday Night Dead group page where we have information about the show on there. Also, Autumn Moon Paranormal or Slozer Paranormal Research or my own personal page to get in touch with me. Again, I would like to thank Sharon Coyle from Rolling Hills Asylum, John, my co-host, John Coyl from South Jersey Soul Searchers. I just said that so I could get it right twice in a 2-hour show. Vincent, my technical assistant, and most of all of you out there for finishing your weekend here with us. Tonight, next week, Paradrama Roundtable Part 2. Good night, everyone. Have an awesome week.
Hey lady, you got the love I need. Baby, more than enough. Oh, darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you got so much, so much, so much.